How does Ricky Gervais's humour sort of portray now compared to the past? And how do his older films really work? In today's episode, I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on the film The Intention of Lying, a bit of a throwback Gervais classic. Let's jump straight into it. Ricky Gervais is one of those comics that sort of splits people in terms of the way that he actually decides to tell stories. If you threw a film at my mum that was Ricky Gervais related, she wouldn't touch it with a barge pole. But my dad, on the other hand, has actually fallen in love with Ricky Gervais's comedy and has really enjoyed the most recent Netflix series, The Afterlife. So with that, I thought I'd just go back and sort of rewatch an old Ricky Gervais film and see how far he's progressed from then up until now, to sort of see his artistic style, but also to see the sort of commentary that has come along with that. And I wasn't let down. Obviously, it's not the same sort of standard as we've seen in Afterlife, but the film is actually quite exciting. The film itself deals with the satirical humour associated with a country, or the whole world, that believes the full truth. So say I turned around to someone and said, I have £500, they'd believe me. And you can trick people into certain different things. Gervais's character is the only person in this whole movie, in this whole sort of fictitious world, that can lie. So it really links back to the name of the film, obviously, The Intention of Lying. Why do we lie? And how big do the impacts that we have affect other people? If I say to you, oh, I really like what you're wearing, when in my head I think that you look really, really ugly, that white lie is quite a nice white lie. But then you've got to think of the sort of implications and effects of it. And I think that this film really does sort of bring that to the forefront, whilst also having these sort of comical nudges to everything else. Ricky himself in the film is a failing sort of script writer and doesn't really progress and isn't liked in his workplace. But with the fact that he is now lying and everyone still believes him, he is the whole truth. He can get away with a lot of stuff. He becomes rich and famous. Something that isn't really great when you think back to the fact he's lying to get all of this power and affluence. But at the same time, it's very interesting to see that someone that was necessarily associated to being the outcast of society now actually has everything they want because they're using lies and deceit to get it. I don't know if this links further on to some sort of political or socio-commentary that basically says all the liars in the world get what they need, but I don't know. I think Ricky is just more linking back to the sort of intention of lying. Why do we lie? What are the effects of that? And really progressing the sort of narrative forward with that arc. Ricky's character is basically in desperate need of love and affection from someone. Like I said, he's an outcast, and he seeks that from the female character in the film. At the end of the day, it's all about Ricky's story and the progression of his character. It's interesting to see how people believe him, especially when there's a standard scene in the film where his mum dies and he just says to his mum, everything's going to be okay, everything's going to be alright, you're going to go up and see dad, etc, etc. And that is really emotional because it's strange, because in the real world, you would say that to someone. You would tell them that lie to make them seem happy. And I think that links back again to the fact when is good to lie. When you say something to soften someone, to make them feel comfortable, that's purely acceptable. But if you say it in a different sense, is it allowed? I really, really enjoyed this film. Obviously, it's not as great in terms of film and stuff, in terms of techniques and cinematography. It's not going to win domestic awards or anything like that, but for a comedy film, it's rather interesting. It provides commentary on a number of different things, and I mean, I'm a fan of Gervais anyway, so I'm gladly going to watch any of his films. If you haven't seen Afterlife, that's another series that I would highly recommend. It furthers on to Ricky Gervais's sort of comedy, and it's just outstanding. I don't know, I'm a fan of his humour, I'm a fan of Ricky, I'm a fan of Frankie Boyle, all those sort of comics that choose to be in a different lane of comedy. But like I said, the film is very, very interesting, and I think that it works really, really well, even in this modern day. I would highly recommend going to watch it. It's on Netflix at the moment in the UK. And if you have seen it, please let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below, because I just want to see if you guys like Gervais or not. That has been all for today's video. If you liked this video, please hit like, hit subscribe to stay up to date with more content, and fingers crossed, I will see you in the next one. Thank you very, very much. I'll see you then. Bye bye.